have been well trained.
No.
You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Or do not.
I'm not afraid.
There is no try.
All right, folks, we are back. The people have spoken. Nick and Joe. A hyperloop off. Loopity-doop boop. Boop boop. Nick on the right, of course, piloting the same deck we just saw. This is a eDooku eTalzin deck, which is
Oh yeah, we've seen this.
the only I think the only two-character deck left in the field, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
So.
I have to go look at the bracket again to be sure. And then on the left, Joe bring eSnoke, Fost.
Yeah.
And
so you're going to go ahead and drop down the 4-speed on eTalzin. And so we're going to go ahead and get this game on the road here. Jason's going to take a little time out here for a little bit, go walk around, and I'll be talking to myself with the stream, see what's going on. All right, so Joe, go ahead and activates eBazine, gets a discard and a blank. All right, Joe's going to activate Snoke and gets a resource and a blank. They seem to know their decks quite well, so they're just going to be rolling, and they know what they're looking for. They've done this matchup before. It's going to use eTalzin's ability, take a look at the top card. If it's an odd number, he can manipulate a die. He's going to do it on his side because he looked at his deck. All right, so Joe is going to go ahead and do the get the resource side from Snoke. Puts him at 3. If he knows how to turn this thing on, I can do it. I don't know. All right. We're going to have a special guest commentator here joining us. All right. What, Sarah? You don't want to do the stream with me? No? Okay. You'd be like, oh, look at those pretty dice. Is that what you're saying?
I'll be like, look at these.
All right, guys, we got a special guest here, Mr. Mill Andrew Cox. I'm going to go with that. So, Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from your Destiny gaming over here?
So I'm from Orlando, Florida, is my local. We have a great crew down there, play a couple times a week.
And what's your crew?
We are officially Bearded Squadron for X-Wing. We've kind of adopted that for our Destiny crew as well.
All right.
But we play out of cool stuff, Waterford, so shout out to all those guys.
Fantastic, yeah. Unfortunately, didn't get to go to the top 8, but, you're familiar with these decks, right?
Just a little bit.
So with Joe playing Snoke, eBazine, and the First Order Stormtrooper, what are you expecting to see coming out against the matchup versus Nick?
So I think it's really going to come down to how much ramp Joe can get before Nick's able to start getting characters down.
Right.
It looks like he's targeting eBazine. Really wants to take the control off the board so he can use all the cards in his hand, keep his money so he can play those big upgrades that he has.
Exactly.
But it's really going to come down to like how many vehicles Joe can get on the board before Nick starts really pumping out the damage.
Yeah, Nick was on the stream last, as you would know, that he was a lot of the. It came down to rolls in this game, and we know how that works out. So it's definitely, this game right now, it could just be either way. One turn could just swing a game so drastically, and as you would know.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with Nick's deck. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Nick's deck, though, is that he basically has 2 free focuses every turn,
right.
Which is pretty nuts. Definitely really good against Mill, and it's the consistency is something that no other deck has. So with his 4-speed out on eTalzin, he's able to get so much just consistent damage that you can't interact with, and he's really just able to snipe characters from crazy health levels. So
yeah, especially with the 4-speed, that just definitely eliminates the fact that you can actually interrupt anything with his dice.
Yeah, I mean, you could see how many times I had to mitigate the force speed and spend big mitigation on it, just to make sure that I was able to then interact with his Dooku dice.
Exactly.
And it's tough. It's really hard to do. It's probably something that Joe's not going to be able to do, just because he doesn't have as much mitigation, obviously, as I did in my deck.
Very aggressive.
So hitting that force speed isn't going to do anything for him, because it might be his only removal in his hand, and then there's no point to him getting force speed. So it'll be really interesting to see just how much Nick can do before Joe's able to get everything online.
Yeah, and before this matchup was even played, what do you think is more favorable in this matchup, Nick or Joe's deck?
Man, it's really tough. I haven't seen a lot of the Dooku deck just because Nick got on it pretty late in testing. I think it's probably pretty close to 50-50, and it's going to come down a lot to who gets more dice on the table. If Nick's able to get a few upgrades and find that force wave, as you saw how key it was in our match,
yes, it was.
He's going to be able to just do so much damage before Joe can do anything. But Joe's the master of just working with what he's got and maximizing his damage every round.
Right, and eTalzin's loaded up now. eTalzin's got force speed, Dark Council, and the heirloom lightsaber out, so looking pretty good over there.
Yeah, that Dark Council is just going to be so good for those 2 extra focus sides, to be able to just consistently get the force speed, resolve, or all-in plays that he likes to do.
Yeah, I think it's the first time I've seen that eTalzin loaded up, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all gets played out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that he has the weapon on the character with the force speed, because generally you want to roll out the force speed and then force speed into the other character activating to resolve your damage.
Right.
But if he was rolling out eTalzin first, this is the first round I sit down. I don't know if he's been activating eTalzin first.
eTalzin's been activated first, primarily most of the time.
Yeah, so that means Joe's going to be able to interact with the heirloom as opposed to put it on Dooku. But it might be because he thinks Joe's going to go after eTalzin first, so then he has that redeploy to Dooku when he does. There's a couple of different reasons he could do that for.
Yeah, so he did claim, so he's going to just wait to see what Joe's going to do for the rest of the turn.
So do you know who won the battlefield roll?
I do not know who won the battlefield roll, but it looks like it's I'm not quite sure. Is that Rift Valley?
Yeah, Rift Valley. Yeah. That's Nick's battlefield. So I would probably assume Nick won and chose his own battlefield because it's so strong against the slower decks. You're just basically always able to remove their strongest die on the field.
Right.
And Nick's going to be done so much faster than Joe is.
Yeah, in that last round, the game went literally, you had like a few minutes left, so it was both. There was a high five there for something.
I missed what that was for. Yeah, it literally came down to the last roll. What's going on in there?
It's a fun game, They're all having a good time.
Apparently. Yeah, it came down to the last roll in our game. If he doesn't hit lethal there, it's pretty easy for me to find one discard on all my dice.
Right.
But I knew he had the second unyielding was his last card in the hand. Nothing else I could do. So it was a great match. Definitely props to him. He played amazing. Hopefully it was entertaining. It was definitely.
Oh, it was definitely entertaining.
It was super close from where I was sitting. So
yeah, it was very entertaining. So they're gonna go ahead and reset. He's got power action. He's got power action for Snoke. He got power action for Slave 1.
Is this round 1?
Yeah.
That's a lot of work for Nick to do.
Round 2.
This is round 2?
Yeah, now this is going to be round 3 right here.
Okay. It's interesting Joe's only got 2 damage in. I guess Nick's probably had a decent amount of mitigation. Are you sure this is round 2? Because Nick doesn't have anything in his discard. Chad, help us out.
Yeah, it might be round 3. Yeah, I'm too busy, having a conversation, not paying attention to everything. But
for sure.
We'll go with round 3.
Shoutcasting is absolutely harder than it looks, I promise.
It is.
Much props to you guys doing it for 3 days. It's nuts.
It is it's a lot of fun though. All right, so eTalzin activates. She gets the some damage side. So in blank on the force speed, the Dark Council does have a special. eTalzin with a resource and a damage. Flips over the top of the deck, gets a 1. So it's definitely an odd number. He can manipulate a die.
Interesting to see what he goes here. If he goes for the force speed special, he just wants to get a snipe on eBazine real early. Assuming that's a 2 on the heirloom, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a 2.
So if he goes to the force speed, he's probably going to try to activate Dooku to kill eBazine here before Joe's able to use her.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be really telling what his strategy for the round is going to be based on what
And I think he runs all in too, right?
He has 2 all-ins and 2 unyieldings.
So something to think about there, the play he can do.
Yeah, they're saying it's round 2, which makes a little more sense.
Dang Council. Yeah, that this is it's quite interesting right now because with eBazine's at 5 damage on it, it could definitely shift.
So it looks like he's just putting the 2 there
putting a lot of pressure.
To threaten lethal with the 2,000 dice onto eBazine,
right.
Which makes a little more sense.
pin down. Take out the 2.
He still has lethal over 2 actions, but it's definitely going to allow Joe to play a second removal if he has it. It looks like he does have a doubt in hand, so we'll see if he uses that on the eTalzin 1.
It's a lot of pressure, though, just putting on a character. Instead of trying to be aggressive, you're being, defensive, and that changes the focus of how you're playing your cards.
It looks like he's choosing not to doubt here and just accepting that eBazine's going to die, saving that probably for a more valuable eDooku die.
Especially since once he activates, he can turn a die to the side he wants.
Yep. Yeah, realizing he's probably not going to get a lot out of Sabine anyways, even if he saves her there, and there's still a 1 in 3 chance she dies. So
yeah, eBazine just took a dirt nap, but he still got a couple of vehicles out there.
Yeah, and I assume he's probably really going to try hard to get a kill on eTalzin this round. Her being at 7 health, he does have some vehicles in hand and a lot of focus on the board, so it's definitely going to be possible. So the Snoke action on any kind of Stormtrooper damage is going to be really beneficial for him.
4 speed on Dooku. I mean, that's the first time I've seen both 4 speeds on the character. So gonna be some swift swords.
Seriously,
the lightsabers coming out here.
Those 4 speeds are really rough. That was the last thing other than Force Wave. That was the number 1 thing I didn't want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you noticed in Game 3, I tried to play Rebel. I definitely kept that in my mulligan, thinking that was a Vandalize.
Yeah, and I was when you played, I was like, I think that's what you thought it was, but it wasn't. And
yeah, I saw like half the picture, and I just thought it was Vandalize. It's been
You're excited. You're like,
it's been a long 3 days, so I kept that.
Totally understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all play this game. We love it. Things happen. So the pictures look the same. If the picture wasn't the same,
they're a little similar. I'm gonna hope
we'll go with that.
If not, and I don't know what I was doing, but we'll go with they're similar.
So he's applying the pressure. Got the 3 or the 2 on the side.
Looks like Joe's using the Slave 1 power action, hits the 2
Wow.
and snipes out that Dooku 2. That's really nice. The Slave 1 power action is so good. Joe recently went to 2 Slave 1s in the most recent build. It was one of the last ads. It was based on all of our testing. It's just so good. It works so well with eBazine too. Just to consistently get a free die removal every round.
And with Snoke being the deck, resources aren't a problem, and that's the biggest thing is he's got 5 resources left still, and he hasn't even really played anything. So it's kind of there's not really a worry about resources. You're getting what you need. Now he's got that
4
power
damage
action.
showing right now. Yeah, and Joe's the king of just like waiting you out and making sure you exhaust all your resources, and then he just explodes at the end of the round after you've claimed, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think that's what he's trying to do. Just right now, draw out removal.
Isolation got rid of that die.
That's a huge play right there. That means there's no Snoke action this round.
So the only thing he's got left is the solar to be played. Plus he's got that. He hasn't activated Snoke yet.
And an ATDP in his hand.
Yeah.
I have a pretty strong feeling those are both coming out this round.
Yeah. Getting some much love on the chat for Andrew over here.
Outrun, man. That guy is the best. He's one of our Hyperloops teammates. We played in top 4 at Gen Con. Love that guy.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy. There's the Solar
I
Sailor
love
draw.
the draw. See,
It's so good.
I love that card because you're drawing cards, and we all know that the more cards you see, the better chance you get what you need, right? So
Absolutely.
love it.
That card is nuts. I think that was something that got so little love early on, and that has been the only 2 of in the deck since it started.
Yeah.
With Solar Sailor was always a 2 of. The card draw, the focus, the money, it has everything you want.
Focus for days. All right, so Snoke is out there. He's got a 2 indirect, the focus side. He's got was that a shield from the other die?
Shield on the Fang and then two indirect sides, it looks like. Yeah, the Snoke and the Solar Sailor right now is representing 3 focus. Let's see if he wants that. He wants the money so that he can play the ATDP, fixes the Fang Fighter to damage. So it's 4 indirect and 3 direct showing right now.
No, they're just excited that we're streaming and we're talking about Destiny. They're getting really excited in the background there, Jonas.
I don't think they can hear us.
No, the chat's talking about the screams in the background.
Oh, I got you.
All right, so
Do we have any idea what Nick has in hand? Does he have any more removal?
it's hard to see at this moment.
Yeah.
But his shorts look pretty cool.
They are pretty awesome. Nick is styling right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Spell removal.
Yeah, so he's going to... Interesting, he knew that was a deflect, and he chose that the deflect was worth discarding to make sure to get that removal off, as opposed to going for Joe's deck and chancing it. Deflect is really, really good in this matchup. It was put in for these vehicle matchups.
For sure. I mean, that card's getting some love again because of all this range damage coming out.
I think that might be the card of the tournament. So many decks put that in just to try to counter what we thought was going to be a vehicle-heavy matchup.
All right, so he's going to go ahead and do some indirect damage.
Yeah, it looks like Nick has had a good amount of removal this turn. He's played an isolation and a spell removal, hitting 2 big dice. He saved 7 total damage from those 2 dice, which would have been a dead eTalzin 100%.
Yes.
And Nick still has the claim available to him, so you know, if he finally plays that, what was it, an ATDP, I believe, it's unlikely he's going to be able to resolve it.
He's turning, focusing his die to a shield.
Yeah, just get some value out of those dice.
Get
Doesn't want to reroll anymore.
Look at all those vehicles.
So this is what we talked about. You know, Nick's killed a character, but there's no damage on the other 2, and Joe has 5 vehicles out, including his 2 support vehicles, which really helps with his ramp and his focus. So he's just going to be so consistent. He can play pretty much anything he wants for the rest of the game.
Right.
And that Stormtrooper is just going to be pumping out damage. Nick only plays 1 isolation, so it's going to be hard for him to... He whiffs on the claim there. Yeah, it was a good claim by Joe. You know, whatever he rolls out, other than the 3-for-1 on the ATDP, Nick's going to be able to remove.
Oh, he didn't even roll out?
Yeah, he didn't roll it out. He decided to claim instead, try to hit
okay.
the shield, and try to save a damage there. It basically, like, you're taking maybe a 50-50 on your deck to hit the claim action and do 1 damage, basically, versus rolling out the DP, hoping for a 1 in 6 to get anything done.
And look at all these dice he's got left now. All right, look at all these cards he has. Five supports out.
Yeah, he's looking real good right now. Nick has to have a big turn. This is absolutely going to be, I think, the most important turn of this game. If Nick does not significantly put damage into a character or even kill one, it's going to be really hard for him to win.
So who does he go after first? Does he go after Stormtrooper, you think?
I think it depends on how he rolls out. I think Snoke is definitely better just because of the focus sides. You know, if we're able to kill Snoke, the only focus Joe has left is a solar sail, and that's pretty easy to mitigate.
Right.
But if he has 3 dice with 2 focus sides, Joe's to be able to do whatever he wants. But you know, if he's only able to get 7 out and sniping the Stormtrooper, that's okay. That turns off some more damage.
Yeah, he's got that 4-speed special too, so that could be quite fun.
Yeah, he's looking really good right now. Takes out the 3x. That makes a lot of sense.
He did use his second pin down, so he doesn't have any more of those available to him.
Yeah, and Joe does not run a ton of removal. Looks like he still has 1 doubt in hand. It's hard to see what Nick has.
He's going to activate Dooku.
So his max output right now is only 3. I guess he did not get another upgrade.
Wow.
So he has no lethal possibilities showing.
That's rough. Maybe go after the hand a little bit. He's got 2 discard sides showing.
Yeah, I think you might be just put damage into Snoke here. Try to take him off the board. He's going to have to re-roll at some point and just see if Joe has no removal left. We know he does, though.
Well, he still has an action left. Joe got a little bit excited. He's like, hey, can I play?
Nope, not yet. 4 speed. Nick is
something.
super fast. Okay, so it looks like he's going to go for the Stormtrooper, which I agree with. I think
Shut
it's the
down the
only
power
possible
action.
kill he has this round.
Right.
If he's able to get him just to 6 damage, he's not able to Snoke anyways because the character would die before the Snoke action takes effect. So
There you go. Good point.
that makes a lot of sense. If he had rolled a little better on the initial eTalzin roll, I think you maybe go for Snoke and see if you can snipe there. But with the poor roll, going for the Stormtrooper seems correct.
So he's going to go ahead and try to get some heals in. Looks like 3 heals off of possibly eTalzin there.
That card's so good.
Yeah.
1 for 3.
And he's got another Witch Magic on the top of his deck too.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing what 1 health does. Because Field Medic is generally thought of as like a pretty average card. Like, it's definitely playable, it's solid. And then Witch Magic is just bonkers. Like,
Yeah.
that card is so good.
Especially if you custom the deck for it. You know, you have all the odd cards in the deck. Definitely helps that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you run into an Ancient Lightsaber or a Chains Cube or
Yeah, he got pretty unlucky in our match. I think he hit more evens than he should have. There's a
Yeah.
couple rounds where he hit like a 4-speed and Ancient back-to-back.
yeah, that was
I wasn't
crazy.
sad. I was not
Yeah,
sad
I know.
about it.
You're good. You're happy about it.
All right, Joe has just had so many actions left to do, and Nick's running out of resources to remove cards. We can't really see what he
He's got
has.
1 resource, I believe, left.
Yeah. I mean, like, just resources in general,
Yeah,
cards and as
general.
well. He's going to have to start pitching to see if he can get some threatening damage on Joe here.
Oof, the all-in.
One all-in with 2 force speeds on the table. That's a rough reroll.
Discard again, shield, and a 1 damage. So he's not really concerned about that too much. So Joe's going to go ahead and roll out, get a modifier. Is that plus 2?
That's a +2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so still nothing threatening. He's going to go ahead and take the damage while he can. Nick not really concerned with the tempo in this round just because Joe still has so much to do. Nick's going to be able to claim pretty consistently.
Fang Fighter rolls out, rolls a 1 discard.
It's actually kind of huge. If he can hit like if Nick has any mitigation left, if he can hit a discard and get him down to no cards, Joe can just do whatever he wants.
Can play Binds All Things. Puts
Okay.
Force Solution on Dooku.
Look like Nick wants to protect Dooku. That makes a lot of sense since Talzin has 2 redeploys weapons on her.
Draws a
Draw
card.
Which is...
Some shields.
Can't see what the card he was that he drew. It might have been a chance cube.
And Joe's shuffling over there.
Yeah, so Nick conceding the turn, basically saying, all right, I'm not going to be able to kill you this round. I'd rather save my cards and see if I can remove some dice and just keep my characters alive with shields. Joe's still with a lot of cards to play. He's got 4 or 5 cards still.
He hasn't even
cards.
activated the storm.
He hasn't activated any characters yet.
Oh, he got Natural Pilot out, though.
That is a huge hit right there. I think Joe's game plan was probably to activate the Stormtrooper with the chance cube, try to get the 4 resources, and then play the Natural Pilot on Snoke.
Try to just one-shot him.
Lets him reactivate a vehicle. That would have been a big turn, a big swing for Joe, especially since Nick already committed damage into the Stormtrooper. Being able to play a Natural Pilot on a full health +1 shield Snoke would have been really good for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty. Is he running 1 of or 2 of in there?
It's 2 Natural Pilots.
2, okay.
I think if Joe would have gotten that down, that might have been game over for Nick. That was a big, big discard.
Snoke still hasn't activated yet. There's a lot of dice on the field.
And he still hasn't activated Snoke.
Yeah, you think the NT Starfighter's gonna be, or the
N1?
N1 Starfighter's gonna be see some play now?
I mean, it had made its way into the hero vehicle decks. Like drive-by shooting, I think is really the only one left. But I think with Snoke's power, pretty much everyone who was on hero vehicles has switched over to Snoke vehicles. So I think the problem is there's just not very many hero vehicle viable decks. Snoke's power just gives him so many advantages over the other decks in the meta, where DBS was really, really struggled versus Mill. It was almost an auto-loss matchup where Snoke vehicles has a real strong game against it.
Yeah, I think vehicles is the new hotness with all. Look, I mean, there's just so much dice to have to deal with, and the power of the Snoke is what just fuels everything.
Yeah, so Nick went there and played Feel Your Anger to get rid of the Stormtrooper resource. I think what he's afraid there is a Snoke for 3 resources gives Joe 4 resources, and if he has any vehicles or another Natural Pilot by chance in his hand, Nick doesn't want any more dice on the table.
He's got 2 focus sides, but he got a lot of blanks.
It also removes the chance of a focus turning that to a 2 and getting 4 damage from the Stormtrooper. So it makes a lot of sense to remove that. Again, there's another round with no Snoke power action.
Got rid of the focus sides.
Yeah, that's really good. Joe does still have Snoke available, and now he's able to go wild. And there's a 1 focus, which means it is a 2 focus, chaining that to the other Snoke die if he wants to. Can't see with that second card. He still has that doubt. It looks like... Don't know. I don't think it's another vehicle, so we'll see what Joe does. He's going to go ahead and re-roll everything but the focus and the money. Oh, he did re-roll the money. Okay, that makes sense. Looking for shields probably on that die.
No damage. Was that 2 indirect over there?
I think it's a 3 indirect for 1 resource on the Slave 1.
Okay.
No damage. He's going to go ahead and take his money from the Houndstooth. He still has 2 focus available to him, so that's 3 from the Fang and 3 from the ATDP.
And now Talzin is shielded up too. She has 2 shields, and Dooku has 1.
Plus an illusion, which is really going to be huge here. That illusion might force Joe's hand to either just go 2 and 3 on the DP and the Fang and put him into Dooku to try to pop it, or really have him commit to Talzin here.
Right.
So 3 indirect resolved.
It's going to take 1 so far on Dooku. 2, 3. So he's taking all the damage on Dooku.
Interesting. I think he's doing that just because he has the protection of the Force illusion. Joe could focus here to 6 damage, and if he took anything on Talzin, it was really going to hurt. Opts to go for the money instead.
Interesting. Depends on what his last card is. We didn't get to see the last card either, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's a vehicle, but I'm not sure. Joe might be thinking here he wants to discard. Since Nick didn't discard to reroll, he might have some valuable cards like Unyielding or something on him. But Joe instead does take the 3 damage. He's going to take the money. So opting for 3 money and 1 shield over the possible 3 damage from the DP. That's interesting.
He might be gearing up for the next round.
I think so. There's still a lot of vehicles left in his deck. So there's still 2 Hellfires, another Fang. So there's still plenty for him to play. So he just wants resources available to him next round, and I think next round is where he's really going to go for damage. Choosing to take the 3 again on Dooku. Dooku's getting dangerously low, but he does have that Force illusion left.
Yeah, he's kind of shut off the whole redeploy with Talzin too, so, you know, him not going after Talzin anymore kind of flips that focus for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Dooku's definitely the bigger threat, and Talzin has 2 redeploys on her, so the value of going for her is not huge.
So Joe starts off with 6 resources this round.
That's a lot. In case you didn't know, if you're counting at home, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
What that's going to let him do is he might be able to bounce the chance cube back when he activates the Stormtrooper, and that gives him another card to reroll if he needs to.
Specials. He does have that shield he can take off with the dagger, right?
He can take the Snoke shield off.
Yep.
He did hit the Force Speed special, going to get a focus.
All in.
So we know he doesn't have an all in hand because he pitched one earlier. That's his second one. So the Talzin focus is a little less useful here. So we'll have to see if he goes for the 3. I think he probably goes for the 3 on the heirloom. It's the same +2 value if you change the focus. And having 1 focus available is always good. Or sorry, going for the dagger, that makes a lot more sense. I forgot the dagger was there. +3 on the dagger, so he's showing 4, plus removing a shield from Snoke. Joe playing that effect on the Talzin 2.
This could be a big play for Nick here if he does. He's going to resolve the 4-speed special.
Well, he's going to roll out and have a minimum of 7 damage showing because he'll be able to focus the Dooku. So his max damage is actually 11 to come out of Dooku, or sorry, 10 to come out with Dooku. If he rolls a 3, focuses to a 3. That's 6 + 4, so he's actually 1 short of killing Snoke.
But he could also have. It depends on what is in his hand. Did he roll it almost? Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he can show 10 damage plus removing a shield. So it's 1 short of Snoke, but I have a feeling he's just going to snipe the Stormtrooper here. Turns off the power action for the rest of the game and also gets the chance cube.
Yeah.
Before he's able to bounce it. As much as I would want to put Snoke to 1, that would leave Nick with no resources.
So he did it for 5, yeah. So 5, 7, 8 total damage. Definitely take out the Stormtrooper and put some little bit into Snoke.
He remembers the dagger activation, so he's going to steal Snoke's shield, put it on the Dooku, and kill the Stormtrooper.
He's going to put it on Talzin.
Or sorry, it has to go on Talzin. It has to go onto the character that the dagger's attached to.
So he's going to put some extra damage into Dooku now, or Snoke?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he resolves the heirloom or waits to focus it. Joe does not have a ton of removal. He's already played 1. Joe does have the other natural pilot in hand, so that's definitely coming down this turn.
Yeah.
We see why he wanted 6 resources. He's going to get a natural pilot and another vehicle this round, probably. A natural pilot's so gross.
But now the pressure's on him now, though. He's going to, the damage that could be put out there. He's still, Nick is almost done with his round. So the only thing left he's going to be doing is hopefully mitigating some extra
Yeah, he will have the claim available. He's going to focus the 3 here. We'll see what he has in hand. He does have 1. Oh, and the feel your anger. That feels real bad.
So the natural pilot costs 4, right?
It does cost 4.
So he's going to use all of his resources to play it if he does play it now. So that leaves him open to anything else.
Yeah, Nick X is feeling a pretty good spot here, especially if he has 1 more removal card with the Witch Metric. That's huge.
All in, Force Wave, and yielding. So that's 3. Oof.
Yeah, so that's big. Joe
so that's
really
6
needs
health. He's healed this game.
I think Joe needs to kill a character this round. I think if Joe does not kill a character this round, I think the game's over. Nick goes into the next round and just is able to blow him up. He's going to have the all-in available next round. And with that all-in play, I don't think there's any way Joe can avoid having Snoke die.
There's 59 minutes left in this round. Dark Council. Or Crystal Ball.
Crystal Ball.
Nick's
just getting stuff out of his hand, putting upgrades down, wasting time.
2 focus sides. So he's got...
Now 2 focus is huge.
7 damage to go through, plus the Force Illusion to kill off Dooku.
He did not draw another weapon, or another vehicle. So this is what you see on the board is what he has. He's going to have the Natural Pilot come down, which has a +3 and a +4 side, I believe.
Yeah. I believe so.
I think he's probably looking for the Feel Your Anger, so nobody has to play around here.
He doesn't have any resources showing, so if anything, he might have a hidden motive.
Okay, so Nick's very limited on what he can do. He's probably waiting to claim to see what the most value will be. It's definitely that 2 focus
All the
right
dice
now.
are out, except for Snoke, so depends on what it is, you're right.
Joe doing a really good job of hiding the Natural Pilot as long as he can and seeing if he can bait Nick out. But now he's forced to play. He doesn't really have any more actions. So we'll see what he wants to reactivate. I would assume it would probably be the Fang. It could be the Slave 1. He might reactivate Dooku Sailor to try to draw a card and see, depending on how many vehicles he has left in deck. But I think we'll see what Nick does here.
So many dice out there. It's just, that's why Anticipate is so good. Now, you bring that card back in, you can just. That's why I like that card in the deck for sure.
It is the Fang, so he's going for full damage. Yeah, I had a nasty Anticipate in Swiss. Cad Snoke rolled out and had 8 dice on the table with his ambush. He used the Snoke action to resolve 1 Snoke or Cad die, and I anticipated for 7 dice, and he basically got a discard out of it.
Yeah.
So I removed 7 dice for a discard. It's pretty good.
So get rid of the highest damage potential there.
Interesting he didn't... Oh, I guess the Snoke rolled focus, so...
They both got focus.
Joe just has unlimited focus. He's just going to hit for max damage. So he's hitting with the 3 first to see what Nick decides to do with the illusion, which lets him have a better idea of how he can focus. If Nick doesn't pop the illusion here, then he can go with the modified side on Natural Pilot easier. Nick's good enough player to understand that, so he's going to choose to take the damage to avoid the Natural Pilot damage. Natural Pilot only has modified sides on it.
Right.
Yeah, going to pitch the reroll here, makes sense. Probably reroll one of those Snoke dice at least.
Because it's got the 2 indirect damage.
He already has 3 focus, so I don't know why he wouldn't reroll 1. Honestly, probably reroll both Snoke die, because even if he misses, the Solar Sailor can focus into the 2 focus on Snoke, and that gives him the 3 focus he needs anyways. Yeah, so it makes sense to roll everything here.
Focus, some damage.
Still too many focus from Snoke, and nothing else.
Is that disrupt?
That's a complete whiff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 2 disrupt. That's a complete whiff from Joe. See if he tries to reroll one more time.
I mean, it can't get any worse, right? So
yeah, but he has some pretty high value cards. So he has his only Mind Trick in the deck, which is the only massive removal he has, which he's really going to need next round. So there's important cards there. He does have 4 focus available for him, so he's going to be able to focus to max damage on the rest of his 4 dice. So can he snipe eTalzin here? 3 + 4, 7. I think there's a 2 ranged. Yeah, so he's just short of killing eTalzin also. He's just trying to work out the math to see if he can get any character dead here. Don't know if he's going to be able to.
And if he doesn't get a character off the board right now, this would be really big for Nick.
Yeah, Joe cannot kill a character this round.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to do it as efficiently as possible, taking the resource there on Snoke so that he can resolve max damage on the ATDP. It's a 2 and a 3 for 1. He chooses to go for the 3 for 1. Nick takes the damage again, leaving Dooku at 1 health. He's looking to get maximum value out of this Force Illusion, which he's going to get right here. Interesting to see if Joe puts this, 7, it's going to be 5 damage into eTalzin. Yeah, not going to waste anything on the illusion and see if he can just ping off damage and try to get that illusion for as little value as possible.
But he does have an all-in coming up.
Yeah, this play is going to be big. Nick only to get 8 damage out. He has...
Has he got a shield on Snoke or no shield on Snoke?
Oh, there is a shield on Snoke, but he has dagger, so that shield is basically useless. He's able to resolve the dagger. This first Talzin roll is going to be pretty huge. All right, Joe has a single doubt in hand. He doesn't like you, but he's not going to be able to use that since Nick is going first. Nick counting his deck to see how much he can save with illusion. This is big. I think this is Nick's game to lose right now.
Mm-hmm.
Joe not being able to get Dooku off the table there is huge.
Go ahead, activate Talzin.
Joe knows he has that all in too, so.
He's got the special on the 4-speed.
I think we're going to have to see the mind trick here from Joe and just take whatever set he puts with the speed. It's a pretty big whiff from Nick. I think you focus the dagger, and when he mind tricks, you split the dagger and the speed.
Yeah, he's got the mind trick.
Okay, he's
play,
going with the 3, which is the more damage side. So you have to split the speed and the heirloom here. Interesting to see where he puts the dagger. I would assume with the speed. Okay, Nick putting the 2 highest value dice together, leaving him with maximum dice on the other side. Joe's has to take the speed in the heirloom here.
Yeah, because if he doesn't, it's it. Because he's got the all-in his hand.
Yeah, he's got 9 showing. Or 9 maximum if he leaves that. And if it's any focus on the crystal ball, that's a dead Snoke. So if Joe leaves the speed side with the heirloom, all right. If Nick needs a 3 from Dooku, no, any damage side from Dooku, or any focus from the crystal ball.
Interesting.
That would be lethal. He's at 9. Sorry, I misspoke. He does need a 3 from Dooku. Because with the shield, he's now at 9 without having the dagger available. So any 3 from Dooku or a focus on the crystal ball would be lethal.
So you think that was the right play there? I don't know.
It's risky.
Yeah.
It's definitely low odds for him to hit either of those things he needs, and it gets the maximum damage dice off the table. I think it's the correct play because just taking the damage as he can. In case he whiffs, he wants to get value here. I think it was the correct play since Joe is a little behind. You sometimes need to take riskier plays to get ahead and just hope the other guy doesn't have it or misses because you're going to lose even if he does. So Joe playing like Nick is going to miss. Although Nick is going to get another weapon down here.
Put it over the dark crystal or the crystal ball.
I think I put it over the speed. Yeah.
There you go. That's a good weapon right now.
It's not bad at all. Going to get the healing afterwards also. So he still has the force speed rollout resolve. He needs to hit 6
so you think
damage.
He's gonna if he even doubting that force speed is still not because he has 3 special sides on it.
Oh, if he doubts the force speed now, Nick has 3 action. And he definitely wins. So. Gonna put him out of range 1 more, so now we need 7. Here it goes. It's a whiff on the ancient, whiff on 1 Dooku. Yeah, he's not gonna have enough.
Ugh.
Wow. Max he can do here is
5,
and that's gonna be 1 short. And Joe does have removal to handle.
I can at least get the 5 out and. Oh, he's going to choose.
He's crystal ball. He's crystal balling
okay.
just to see. Just get some information going into the next round. This is huge. Joe hit the shield on the Slave 1, which is the only side that would have saved him. Joe would be dead right now if he did not take that shield.
So he still has the action to resolve the dice.
Yeah, it's going to be too short just because he chose to go for the 2 instead of the 3 for 1 and wants to leave a resource available. Nick still has another action. He's going to look for the reroll to try to hit damage on the Ancient or focus on the Crystal Ball and say, Joe, I don't believe you. You have no removal.
That's what we're going to go with. He does have the, he doesn't use the doubt yet. There it is.
There's the doubt. Oh, you are right. He did take the shield, so he's at 7 total health right now. So it would have been too short, even with the 3. I think you have to doubt
the damage.
I think you have to doubt the Ancient.
Yeah,
you have to doubt the
Ancient
Ancient because the +3 gets removed. He definitely does not die when he doubts the Ancient.
Right.
There's no way for his character to die. If he doubts anything else, still hits the damage, then he focuses into the +3 on the Ancient, and then he's dead. So that was absolutely the right call.
Do you think he's going to pop the Ancient before to get that 2 extra health?
There's no reason to right now.
He
he definitely will this round, but I think he wants to get the damage off the table right now. So he does go ahead and put 4, which will put him to 8. Snoke will be at 3 health, and Joe's gonna have a turn. This could be game swinging. I don't think Joe has any more vehicles in hand still, though, which is pretty unfortunate. He really needs to get some more dice on the table. Although the natural pilot's going to provide another die of his choice. Probably the Fang again, I would assume. If this hits a vehicle, this is going to be huge. Did not see it. It was a vehicle. It's a second Slave 1, so not something you can play. Yeah. Really looking for those Hailfires or some kind of Fang fighter. Second Fang fighter, or I don't remember if he went down to. I think he's only on 180.
And just keep in mind, too, there's 48 minutes left, and this is still game 1.
Yeah, this game's going really
a lot longer.
Long. Wow. Yeah, that's what happens when you're playing some of these slow plotting vehicle decks. The games can really drag on. Even if the other opponent's just passing, it's still, maybe has to take a couple seconds in between each pass, and then Joe has a million actions every round.
Right.
Whoever wins game 1 here is going to be a huge advantage because if it goes to time in game 2, the winner of game 1 wins the match. So that's really important to know. It actually came up in my first round game, so it's something that they know because we discussed it.
Oh, wow. Well, he did roll a focus side for Snoke.
2 focus and a lot of modified damage.
And he did pass, so...
This looks like a dead Talzin if Nick doesn't have anything to do. He chose to reactivate the Fang, which makes sense. He's going to want to get that resolved so he can roll it back in. Talzin's at...
2 damage.
She has 7 health left.
Yep.
Let's do some math here. Let's figure out if Joe can win this turn.
Yeah, he needs 4 on Talzin, but he does have the Force Illusion still.
4 on Dooku.
Or Dooku.
Yeah, 4 on
but
Dooku. So he needs to do 4 plus 7, so he needs 11 damage. And that's not counting the illusion.
Right.
So. It's tough. I think Joe's goal here is to try and kill Talzin and then see if he gets enough mitigation to deal with Dooku long enough next round to survive.
Yeah, and still got the all-in.
Yeah, all-in is much less effective with one character, though.
For sure.
So you don't get the 4-speed rollout into the all-in, which is really what his deck is trying to do.
So he's going to change his Snokes to get some focus sides going on. And
well, I assume he's trying to focus here to avoid the battlefield claim. So he can go to +3 on the natural pilot and a 3 on the Fang, and that gives him 9 showing and also avoids the battlefield being able to take anything but the focus from Snoke. Snake's battlefield can only remove a die 2 or lower.
Right. So, I mean, there's some 3 sides that he has showing on his sides, on his battlefield, or on his field.
Going for resources.
I wonder what he's got in his hand.
Does Joe have? It looked like only removal and... So that's showing 4 resources right now. Plus the 5 on the Fang, although I'd be surprised if he took the resource on the Fang.
Maybe he's just trying to bait him. He's getting some money. He has 3, 4. Does he got tank? He got droid tank?
Didn't see one. That'd be a really nice play if he did have it. He does have the 1 focus still from Snoke and the reactivation of the Fang fighter. He could go to 5 resources and reactivate the Fang. If he focuses, he's showing 6 plus 2 for 8. That's a dead Talzin, although Nick could claim to remove the natural pilot die. I think it's on a 2. It looks like a 2. Yeah, he's going to take the damage here while he can. So now Nick's options for claiming are much worse. It might be best, honestly, to claim here and take the focus, which would force Joe to either reroll the Fang or just take the resources, and now he only has 3 damage. The overconfidence, he does come out with his only removal. That's really good here. Unfortunately, the Fang rolls into lethal damage on Talzin. That was really unfortunate for Nick there. He basically had a 1 in 3 for, and even less than that, because if Dooku rolls, or Snoke rolls a 2 and the Fang rolls a 2 or less, you know, he can remove the Fang die.
Fang Fighter still can activate.
Yeah, I think this might be, I don't know, it's still really close. Because of the illusion, Joe's still not going to be able to get a kill here this round, so Nick's going to have a rollout.
And he can also claim, too, and get rid of that die.
Absolutely. So I think Joe claims here.
Yeah,
Joe's
to get
thinking about
first
claiming
action.
here just to get first action. Although, without the Archangel on the board, there's no way to get a lethal dice out in 1 action. So he'd really be doing it to turn his He Doesn't Like You online.
There you go. It's going to claim, get rid of that die.
Yeah.
Unyielding.
Yeah, not relevant now
Yeah.
because Joe doesn't have
Any shields?
Oh, there's an arc. There was an arc. Okay, so we knew he had an extra damage, an extra die.
Got a shield. I mean, do you roll for the damage?
Absolutely, you have to.
Yeah,
you have
so
to pop
he's
that illusion.
He's gonna
Now
go
that you're
for-
behind, he's gonna be able to roll
He's got
out.
to pop 4. He's got to go to get through him.
Yeah, he's got to get rid of this illusion this turn. Now that he's behind, he doesn't have his He Doesn't Like You online for when Nick rolls out.
This game has taken 40, what? 48, 40, 47 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. Nick has a tough decision. That was a 2 ranged. He's going to go ahead and pop the illusion.
Or does he?
So, I mean, he's not going to have time to play another weapon next turn anyways. I think you probably take the damage here.
He still has 1 ancient lightsaber left, right?
So he has the 1 on the bottom of the deck, and I believe he still has the second one.
Right.
But you really want to roll out
He
and
needs to
represent
roll out.
lethal.
Exactly.
A 3 would be lethal from Dooku.
I mean, he just has to roll it out. It looks like he used his doubts and his...
He's like, he doesn't like you for sure, but since Nick's going first, if you try to play a weapon, then Joe's able to get a die out and has his He Doesn't Like You online, which would require Nick to have 2 damage dice to be able to
So
have
Nick
lethal.
will go first.
He takes the damage. I think that's correct. All right, there's the second arc. Friends and low and a DH. Don't think Joe has any... Is that a force solution? But Nick does have unyielding, and Joe knows he does. And I think that's going to be game. The claim, the 3s put the claim out of play. He plays the illusion. And we know he has the illusion.
It's like Joe conceded to Nick. Nick looked like he won round 1. 48 minutes. 48 minutes for game 1. So this is going to be crucial because, you know, right now Nick knows that this game is going to be taking a lot longer because of all the vehicles that Joe has. Interesting. That was a really good game.
That was huge.
A lot of haymakers in there. A lot of, you know, Bazine going out early was crucial, I believe, for this matchup. So I think he's going to go with the same recipe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting the control off the field, allowing Nick to use all of his removal that he had. I mean, Nick used probably 10 removal cards that game, and if Bazine's there, she stops that.
Right.
So that was definitely a good kill for him. Joe's in a really tough spot. Joe's going to have to win this game with time left and then get ahead in game 3. It's very unlikely they're going to get through a full third game. So since Nick took the first game and it went so long, Joe's going to have to win this one quick, and that's not what this deck does.
Yeah, it does not.
So Nick is definitely in the driver's seat. He can definitely take a slower approach in this game. You know, maybe mitigating more, not necessarily playing as aggressive, because all he has to do is lose slow. If he loses slow, he wins.
Right.
So it's an interesting tactic to see how he's going to play it. If he's going to play to that and play to the time advantage, or if he's just going to try to win outright.
I guess it all depends on what the dice tell you first.
Absolutely.
Go with that.
You let the dice do the talking.
Yeah, exactly. Having it binds all things in opening hand would be really help him out, speed up the process, but
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah, Nick played that really well. Nice and slow, just taking what his dice gave him, not overextending, not pitching the reroll, keeping his removal always online. Just limiting how much damage Joe was able to do, and you saw how close it came down to.
Right.
Dooku was at 2 health with an illusion. So that game was as bad as close as it could be.
And also a critical point in this game was when Nick got the other natural pilot. You know, getting rid of that card.
Yeah, discarding that natural pilot and turning that offline for 1 round, because he did draw into the second one the second round. That was huge for Nick. That was definitely game defining. That's 1 extra Fang activation, which could be the 3 damage difference.
Exactly.
It's pretty interesting. In one of the rounds, Joe did slow down and played a little more. He went for the resources instead of taking the extra damage.
We were deciding about that. It's definitely...
Yeah, he played for the long game instead of the short game, which is interesting. That might have cost him the game. We'd have to go back and watch, but I think he left, 3 or so damage on the table, which could have been eTalzin dead a round earlier, and some more damage in Dooku. I mean, definitely don't fault him. Joe knows his deck better than anybody, but it's interesting to see how that affected it.
All right, so here we go. We'll see what happens this game. 39 minutes left in this round. And a possible 2 games that Joe needs to get through. So
if they make it to the game 3 before time is called, I think you play at least 2 rounds before deciding the winner. So it's just going to come down to who can turbo out damage as fast as possible, and I think that's got to go to Nick. All right, so Joe... I'm pretty sure Nick did win the battlefield roll in round 1, chose his battlefield. Joe gets choice now since he lost, going with his battlefield, which makes a lot of sense. He gets that extra resource in the first round. And eBazine showing a 3 discard or a 3 resource,
he's getting rid
both of which
he's conceding to the fact that he's
are
going to get his...
really, really good. We'll see what Joe goes for here. Depending on his hand, if he needs the resources, he does have a natural pilot and a Dooku sailor.
He's got a natural pilot in his hand, open hand.
I wouldn't be surprised, and a DH, so I wouldn't be surprised if Joe chooses to go for the resource on eBazine. He's playing the Slave 1 with the Weapons Factory Alpha for 2. I think what he's trying to do is see what Nick does to decide before eBazine chooses what to snoke.
I mean, he's letting him put cards down, so... I mean, Nick right now is thinking, whew, I think I got away with one.
Joe's choosing to go for the resources, which makes sense given his hand. If he's able to get that natural pilot and activate the Slave 1 twice this round, that's going to go a long way. But he did let Nick get 2 of his best upgrades on the table.
And a 4-speed coming up next.
With on the eTalzin activation. He has 4 evens in that deck. Played 2. There's only 2 left in the deck.
Yeah.
2 out of 25 right there. That's rough for Nick. So question from the chat, how it works. If Joe wins game 2 at time, it would be the winner of game 1, which was Nick, that would win the match. So if you only play 2 games and you don't start the 3rd game, the winner of game 1 would win the entire match. If you do start game 3, you play a minimum of 2 rounds. Even if time is called in round 1, you play out the 2nd round, and then it would go to normal tiebreaker rules.
And there you have it. Brought to you by Andrew Cox. Good job, buddy.
This knowledge brought to you from thehyperloops.com. There's a lot of people on camera and behind the camera currently.
Yeah, definitely is.
All right, so he goes for the Solar Sailor, which is solid.
So good.
So good. Lets him draw another card. So Nick did get an extra resource, so he probably has some removal online. And down in the 2 on eTalzin with no other dice on the table gives him basically 4 bad options because the focus now becomes blank.
And he has no resources as well, so unless he's running another hidden motive or a doubt, he's very limited on what he can do now.
Yeah, so Nick is showing 5 right now. He's going to hit the power action on the Slave 1, try to remove a 2 or a 3. Oh, hits the 1, which is
blankets. Oh.
The only thing that whiffs. It's the only side on that die. Oh, I guess the resource too. So there's a 2 out of 3 for it to hit something.
But he's got enough he can do 5 damage to eBazine, put her at 6.
Yeah, which he's going to go ahead and do that, leaves him with no resources. So Joe's going to be able to do a lot of work this round. No battlefield claim to remove a die available for Nick. So Joe's going to have a big round here.
It's going like it was in game 1, where eBazine was getting got some early damage on.
He's going to look for at least another resource to get that DH down. I think he's not going to look for the natural pilot until next round. Nick going to try to get value here out of
resource
isolation. That resource is good.
Would be nice
to
for
see
that
what
isolation.
what his last cards are. The isolation would only hit the Stormtrooper die really here, but since he's already snoked, it's not that important.
Gonna get that resource. 2 focuses on both of his die. Got 1 focus on each on Snoke's die.
That's a 3 focus. I'd be surprised if Joe doesn't get the DH down on the Stormtrooper here. 2 focus. 2 focus, 2 money? Yep.
Yeah, he wants to get paid. Put some other threat on the board.
Yeah, so we can still get a Bazine special out here, plus fix another die. And he's going to get the DH down. That also leaves open the possibility to pay for some pay sides, either on the Slave 1 or the DH. Nick is passing, so he's bluffing that he has some removal. I don't know if he actually does or not. 2 cards left in hand, 1 resource available. And the wonderful Washington, D.C. sun has started beating down on us.
Oh, yeah. The last couple of days. Oh, yeah. It's like that 1 hour is when it was hitting us.
It was nice and gloomy this morning. Cooled it down. All right, so Nick looking like he's deciding what he wants to do here, if he has any removal in his hand, how he wants to play it.
Or he can just be bluffing.
He could be. Yep, it's a possibility. There's nothing there. I guess he passed. So seeing if Joe will walk into something or just continuing the bluff to make Joe play inefficiently here. So putting the 2 into eTalzin here still leaves the Bazine special up, which I think is why he's doing that. Lets him choose where he wants to go with the damage still.
Should be at 1 more damage on Talzin, though, right?
He had 2 shields, and it did 2.
Oh, it's 2. Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 for 1. So he can 2 focus here and get 5 total damage out. Or he could go for the indirect and get 6 total damage out.
33 minutes left in the round.
Yeah, this round is taking way too long for Joe. Nick is firmly in the driver's seat here. Oh, wow, and what a roll. So he hits the 2 sides he wanted on Bazine and the Stormtrooper, so he gets the focus.
Overconfidence would be nice in here. He has one.
Overconfidence would be great. I think it's the perfect card here. I wonder if he's holding on to Feel Your Anger. Deflect. Okay.
There you go. Take that.
gonna take Bazine down to 1 health. That's pretty big. Let's see who Joe's first target is. It is going to be eTalzin. Puts her down to 6. He's going to be able to get
claim
2 more through with the Slave 1. Yep, so eTalzin is now at 4 health, Bazine at 1. If we can have a round 2 where we trade eTalzin for Bazine, that's going to be really good. Nick's going to want to try to get 2 characters off the board here.
Yeah.
Especially now with that Stormtrooper with a DH on it.
Yeah,
it basically makes it an elite Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So I think that was definitely advantage Joe. He got 3 dice down and put eTalzin in a very vulnerable position.
Oh, he does have a Witch Magic.
So choosing not to go for the speed here, he's taking the damage instead. I think he wants to represent lethal on Bazine and make Joe have an answer. He doesn't like you isn't on Lime, so he does get the illusion down. Let's see if I wonder if Nick has an unyielding and whether he would burn it right here just to get the kill.
I mean, he got rid of a card too, so and used up a resource. So
yeah, that'd be huge if he has the unyielding and wasted it. Well, Joe basically said he didn't have any other removal, so it looks like he has a He Doesn't Like You, which isn't online. So rolling out Dooku isn't the worst thing here. Mind Trick is offline, and I think that's Joe's. He does have a Feel Your Anger. All right, so choosing to pop here, just in case he has a Feel Your Anger.
he got rid of his doubt too.
Any removal gone. It's not great, although this is... So this is interesting. So Joe can't power action on Bazine now because Bazine would die before it would resolve. But he can take the 2 shields and then power action, and Nick has given him the time to. That would net him 1 health and an extra resource, or an extra resource. extra 2 resources. So that looks like the line Joe's going for here. +1 health and +2 resources from his 2 eBazine dice. And he does now have the He Doesn't Like You available. So Dooku hits a 4-speed and just...
Wow. Damage for days?
Amazing damage. So he has 2/2 here. So this represents lethal, but Joe does have removal. I'm interested to see if he values the resources over Bazine's life and what he wants to do. Down to 30 minutes in the round.
Yeah, this is
looking like more and more advantage to Nick. All right, so he's valuing the resources here. He's saying, you can have Bazine's life, that's fine. I want 3 resources, I want to play more upgrades.
She's got 2 resources on Nick's side with a 4-speed special, so there's so much he can do right now.
So I think Joe's play is just here, you're showing only 4 damage. Other than that, you only have 2 other damage dice. So you're not going to be able to kill another character. I'm willing to trade Bazine for eTalzin, and that money helps me do that. So be interested to see how Nick plays this. If he wants to resolve the 2 or look for possibly a speed into reroll. He could get a sneaky kill on the Stormtrooper here. He speeds into a +3 or a focus for the Ancient.
Looks like a
Looks
blank.
like a blank on the Ancient. 2. So there's 1 short of an all-in kill on the Stormtrooper. That'd be a really good play here if he could snipe the Stormtrooper with the DH after Bazine's already used their dice.
Right.
But he's just choosing to take the kill there. I think I might have rerolled that 4-speed to look for the extra focus, or even a special to try it again to try to snipe the Stormtrooper.
He's going after Snoke.
But Nick playing the game that he plays. He's just playing consistent, playing what the dice give him, choosing just to take off Bazine and put some damage into Snoke.
It's a good roll.
Yeah, so that puts eTalzin within 2 of death.
Shield up now.
Gonna try to remove the 2. Looks like he got it. That's a 1 and 3 to land back, and he got back on the 2 range. That was about as perfect as it could have gone for Joe. He basically just kept the die on the same side and said, remove your 2 damage for free.
Snoke hasn't activated or the Trooper. Playing Force Illusion on eTalzin with the Binds All Things.
Wow.
That helps.
That's a big play there. That's going to make it tough for Joe to get much done. His whole round is pretty much going to be dedicated to killing eTalzin here now.
He's still got 1 resource showing, and Nick looked like he has 1 card left, right? Kind of curious on what that card would be. Do we know what it is?
I did not see it.
All right, so the Trooper's showing 2.
I think that's a 2.
4 damage plus a 2 focus side, right?
Yeah, so he's representing 6 right now. He could... eTalzin's at 5 plus the illusion. So it's not lethal right now.
But he's going to use a lot of those dice just to pop that, Force Illusion.
I think he was really looking for a resource to try to get the natural pilot down on Snoke before he activated Snoke. So he's in a tough position now. I don't think he wants to reroll yet. It's really hard to get off of that 2 damage on the Trooper, and the DH does not have a resource side. So there's no easy way for him to get down the natural pilot, unless he wants to give up the damage.
Right.
And now with the Force Illusion down on eTalzin, the modified damage from the natural pilot really doesn't help that much. Okay, so he is choosing to go for the resource to get the natural pilot down, and has the 4 showing. But I would imagine he wouldn't want to use that on eTalzin, so we might see him switch targets here.
Yeah, and not only that, but it just, you know, the speed of how the game's going to go. He's got to do the pilot, he's got to activate, and it just slows it down still.
It is a lot more actions, and Joe, time is not on his side. So looks like he's only choosing to do the 2, leaving the modified up for the reactivation of the slave 1, I would assume. It's an interesting decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe unable to get lethal here, based on what he's showing right now. Okay, so we're rewinding. It looks like he is going to do the 4. That makes a little more sense. Blocked by the illusion. It's a Witch Magic, 2 upgrades, and an Unyielding. Those are 2 big cards in the Witch Magic and the Unyielding.
Yeah, definitely that Witch Magic. He knew it was up there because he showed it before, but yeah, losing that is going to hurt just a little bit there.
I think Joe realized, so he has 2 natural pilots in hand, actually.
Wow.
Joe realized he wasn't going to get the kill on Talzin. So getting rid of that Witch Magic, which you saw was on top after the Talzin activation, was huge, because Nick, first action next turn, could just heal for 3.
1. Wow. Not what you want to see.
Yeah, 2 focus on the natural pilot is really good. He could get 4 indirect here. Okay, he's going to reroll before activating the slave 1, which I don't necessarily understand. Unless he's trying to get something else down. So that's 5, which is lethal to Talzin.
He's got a shield on Talzin, so 5 would be, yeah, we'll take her out.
That's a dead Talzin. That's definitely an advantage, Joe. So resource going into the next round. 2 plus 3. And these guys are teammates, longtime friends. Me and Nick's game was competitive, but definitely we wanted to play our best, so the take-back makes sense there in the format here.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
He wants to rip that card up right now.
So Nick just basically paid a resource and discarded 2 cards to do nothing. That was the only even left in the deck. And that's just backbreaking.
Full health Dooku, though. At least you gotta look at that.
It is a full health Dooku with 1 ancient on him.
Ouch.
Man.
We
That's
may
rough.
see a quick game 3. It's gonna be a game 3 may happen here at this point.
Yeah. I think Nick's goal here just has to be to drag this game out. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about like intentionally slow playing. I'm just playing for the longer game. So like removing his dice, keeping Dooku alive as opposed to just doing damage. This is going to be a really hard one for Nick to win. Joe's got a really nice board state. That was absolutely painful to watch to see that ancient ripped off the top. No evens left in the deck now. That was the only card there that would have killed Talzin. Any other card there and Talzin lives.
Dagger Mortis uses the binds all things.
So what the guys in the chat that missed what happened. So Joe was showing lethal on Talzin, 5 exact damage. Nick played Speller Removal, which is reveal the top card of a deck, discard it. If it is odd, remove a die. And Nick pulled the only even left in the deck, which was the second Ancient Lightsaber. So basically just discarded 2 cards, spent a resource, and did nothing.
He's got 5 damage, 6 damage showing, still can flip a Dooku die.
He does have no resources now, so choosing to take the...
Is that 5 total damage showing?
Yeah. It's deciding if he wants the resource or not. Which one he wants to flip to the 2. He'll actually be showing 6, because it's 1 plus 3. He's going to flip one of the Dooku dice to a 2. Yeah, if he has... I don't know. It's going to be hard. It's a possibility of killing a Stormtrooper here.
Does shut off the power action. Pin down.
Yeah, 7, but he doesn't have a resource. So he has no way to play all in and no way to resolve the 3-4.
Right.
All in for 7 would cost 2 resources.
Oh, he put 5?
Yeah, so
No.
Joe played pin down to remove...
He got rid of the Dagger Mortis modifier.
So just 3 into Dooku there. Yeah, so Nick basically conceding this turn now. So you probably take the resource to try to have some removal online if he has any. But yeah, Joe is in full control of this game. He's gonna have another round to himself. But is he taking too much time? 20 minutes left. He's got to finish this game and get into game 3.
Passing. Disrupted his resource with a Snoke's die. So now Nick has 0 resources available and just a blank on the force speed. Still has a Stormtrooper hasn't even activated yet. He has 4 dice left in the field. Just going to go ahead and take a resource.
Yeah, and that Snoke action available for the Stormtrooper die. It's going to be huge.
Looking for a shield?
Yeah, just looking for the shield. Allen's pretty dead now. I think Nick's just trying to stay alive as long as possible.
Natural pilot on the Stormtrooper.
That is going to be a 3 activation Slave 1. Joe's got 2 A-Wings on his side. Man, this is going to be massive damage. Looks like Nick has an unyielding. Couldn't see the rest. Yeah, it's really hard to come back from 2 natural pilots. That's just
got to play the long game.
So I'm interested why Joe didn't just resolve the 5 there to reactivate the Slave 1.
I think he doesn't have any kind of mitigation there. 0 resources.
He's really playing like Nick doesn't have any removal. I guess he has no resources. What did Nick do with the 1 resource he took from Dooku?
He got it disrupted by Snoke.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so Nick has no 0 cost mitigation, so Joe knows that he has this whole round to himself.
Hey, force speed.
You could take 2 actions to claim.
5, 7, is that 10?
6 plus 2 is 8, plus 4 is 12.
12. Wow.
So it's going to take him 2 actions, so he can't H in between. So that would leave him at 2 health with another Slave 1 still to activate. Yeah, so Dooku's going to go to 8 here. He'll heal, go to 6. 4 from the Stormtrooper with the Snoke power action. We'll put him at 2. He's going to have a Slave 1 left. There are 3 sides on that Slave 1 that are lethal.
That ain't one of them.
Joe has 3 discards. I expect all of them to get pitched here. This is huge if he wins this round. And that's game.
All right. And there you have it. Joe wins game 2. There are 17 minutes left for game 3. Plenty of time to get damage somewhere on the board. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. So that game was roughly 23 minutes. I think we had 40 when we started game 2.
Yeah, it was almost 40.
So, I mean, that definitely gives Joe some hope to show that he can do it that fast in both round count and time. Joe can definitely do this. This is going to be a really close game 3. The game can absolutely finish on time. 17 minutes is enough to play, but it might come down to tiebreakers. So it's really going to be an all-out aggro fest here, and so you can get as much damage in as quick as possible.
And who do you think has advantage with who can do the most damage faster?
I'm still going to give slight advantage to Nick. With his force speeds, I think he can just get his stuff done quicker and really dictate the pacing of the game. And Joe's really going to have to rely on his draw in his hand. If he doesn't get the right cards, it's very hard for him to do damage from just his character dice. So this is a great match I think it was built to be. It's going to come down to a really close game 3. Unfortunately, one of these great players is going to go home.
I mean, they don't have to go home. They can hang out for a little bit. If
No, they got to go home. It's in the team contract.
There you go.
There was an exception if you're shoutcasting on stream, but that's why I'm allowed to be here.
Exactly.
But as soon as this one loses, they have to get the next flight out.
That's right. You got to go. And they're taking a few minutes just shuffling. So
Yeah, I think both players are probably definitely under a lot of pressure. So, just taking your time to reset. Remember what your game plan is, adjust. Nick is going to have battlefield choice, which I think is going to benefit him a ton. Getting back onto his battlefield and able to remove some of Joe's dice for free is going to be really big. The 2 shields are fairly irrelevant because Nick can choose where to put his damage and avoid the shields just to get the tiebreakers up.
yeah, I think this is gonna be a good matchup right here.
This is it. This is for the chance to go to the top 4. Nick trying to repeat his top 4 performance from Gen Con North American Championships.
Yeah, he's doing really well. So we'll see. So did he choose his battlefield, or are they?
So they don't have to choose until after the
haven't
mulligans,
decided.
but I find it really hard to believe that Nick's not going to choose his. And Joe's got some big cards in there that he doesn't necessarily.
Did he
want to
mulligan
run
all 5?
It looks like
I think he did. He's looking for some 4-speed and a weapon.
Yeah, I think in our match, Nick mulliganed 14 out of 15 total cards. He's not been lucky on the draws. I think he has not played a Force Wave yet. That card's got to be a blowout.
He's got to see it eventually, right?
I think that's got to be something he's looking for right now. He hasn't played it at all in this match, and that was huge against me. So, with how close the games have been, I guess Game 2 wasn't very close, but that Force Wave would definitely tip the scales. Only 14 minutes left in the round. They're taking a lot of time in this setup. It's been about 3 minutes on setup for Game 3.
So who you rooting for?
Man, you can't put me on a spot like that. These guys are both my brothers.
Which brother do you like the most? We go with that one.
Everyone knows Mike's my favorite. That's not close. No, I think it'd be really nice to see Nick get one. He hasn't won a big title yet, where Joe has. So while I'm not going to be upset with either of them win, I'm definitely rooting a little bit more for Nick, just because he's an amazing player. He got the top 4 at Gen Con, fell a little short. So I'd love to see him get the chance to actually win a title.
Ooh, that's a good roll for Nick. Not so good for Joe. For eBazine. Special.
Yeah, that
damage. Ooh, look at that pressure already.
Oh man, he's going to show 2/2 with a 4-speed special. That's pretty huge there for Nick. Oh no, did he already use the eTalzin ability?
No, he hasn't. He activated, but
he almost forgot.
Yeah, they're like, hey, don't forget. See, look, he's activated Talzin, but it hasn't even turned the card sideways, so that means you get an extra activation, right?
That seems really good. I mean, she shows ready. So Nick going for the resource, that likely means he has some kind of 3-cost weapon or ability. Force Wave would be huge here, especially with the 4-speed, although he wouldn't have the money to resolve it. So we do have an update. Agent of Zion lost in his top 8 match. I'm not sure his opponent was.
All right, so he used his 3 resources to play the heirloom lightsaber, so it's going to go into the 2, the 4-speed, get some extra damage out. That would be it's be really good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he puts the damage.
Discarding the Fang Fighter.
Yeah, so Inception in chat saying that Drew W, I believe that's Arrowbrook Drew, took him down.
Yeah.
So it's our first top 4 player. Double special. That is 6 damage from Sabine. That is gross.
So I think he's going to go after eBazine.
Well, I don't think he's going to have a way to kill her before he can resolve that. So
he did the 4-speed. He has no resources showing. He can flip 1 die. Okay, so he does have a 3 showing on the...
So he's going to choose to take the shields to mitigate the eBazine damage coming in. Again, I think he's playing to the clock here. I think he knows every point of damage is crucial. Right. And
he's got 11 minutes left.
6 actual damage tokens would be huge. So here he's choosing to take the shields to mitigate 4 of it.
He's going to probably pop Snoke then with the 2 for Talzin.
Man, it's tough. Yeah, he's going to go after eBazine. Again, I think she's such a threat to his game plan. He actually remembers to exhaust E'Talzin there.
No, ready it again.
Yeah. To roll her back in. So that play did let Joe go ahead and...
Ooh. Power action's not been used yet, but he can use that battlefield ability to get rid of the Bazine die.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do here.
That's
so he
a
only
shift.
gets one. That was a pretty big swing. A lot of damage off the table there. Oh, that's 4 damage showing. Okay. So he's choosing to play the arc first. Man, Joe is rolling fire right now. So that's 3 from Bazine, plus another 5. Going to re-roll the Stormtrooper.
He re-rolled the Stormtrooper.
Yeah. He didn't have the money for it because he played the arc instead, which is definitely the right call. He pitches the natural pilot, which probably is not that effective in this short of a game.
Just going to have him do some indirect.
No Snoke activation here, but for how much damage was rolled this round, there's going to be very little damage actually done.
So it looks like we're going to see 3 damage on Dooku here.
Yep, he's choosing to actually take the damage.
So it's going to be 4 damage showing overall if he...
Probably put all these on E'Talzin now.
So now 4 to 1. 9 minutes remaining. The clock is ticking.
I think there's probably 2 more rounds in this game. So we're looking at a round 3 end. Just whoever can get more out. That was a pretty decent round for Joe. He unfortunately didn't get to get the Snoke power action. He's only taking 2 money, so not a ton of ramp. But he did get the arc out. He did get 4 damage in, so advantage Joe in round 1 for sure.
E'Talzin activates. Gets a discard. Special on the 4 speed. And a focus. Which magic?
Alright, so that's going to be really important to see next round to get 3 more damage off the table. Looks like we report Cody wins. He is on Afra, the Afra deck. So he's going to move on to the top 4.
All right, so it's now Joe's turn to play. 4 speed special, you got the 2 range and the 1 focus side.
That looks really nice for an all-in play.
You think he has it?
What did he E'Talzin focus? I missed
he focused to a... Yes.
To the 2? Joe preempting the 4 speed.
3 for 1.
3 on air.
3, 2.
Doesn't even need the focus.
Does he have it? Does he even need to play it?
Unyielding to get through to kill Sabine. That's even better than all in.
Wow.
So we can do the 7 melee to kill Bazine, and then still has 2 damage left over.
I mean, you do it, right? It's 2 dice off the field.
100%. 100% you take that.
Wow.
He could have chosen to get the Stormtrooper instead, but I think Bazine's the right call.
Put 2 on Snoke. Showing more damage right now. He's showing 10 versus his 4, right?
This was a monster round for Nick, especially if he still has removal left. Interesting, he chooses to go through the shield to put the damage. Nick's playing for the longer game. Seeing if he could possibly kill the Stormtrooper at the start of round 3 and not get an activation there. With Bazine dead, if he does kill the Stormtrooper, that's a lot of damage missed from the Snoke power action. So even though he goes through the shield, that makes sense.
7 minutes remaining in the round. He did roll out an indirect damage. Nick still has 1 resource
Pitching the
left.
illusion, that's a really important card in this matchup. That can block a lot of damage.
It was a 3. No, it was a 2. Oh, it was unblockable because unyielding.
That's what it was. Okay,
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, we missed it.
So you took the damage on Dooku.
Yeah, so updated damage count. Joe is ahead 10-7. I'm still surprised he pitched that illusion. That could block a lot of damage and be really important for the tiebreakers. Like, that illusion's worth way more than 1 damage.
Blanks. 1 focus side. Ouch.
Did Nick claim?
I'm not sure. What happened? Disrupt. Wow. Not really good rolls right now. Yeah, gonna get rid of that resource so he doesn't have to worry about anything. Maybe he's got a hidden motive or doubt in his hand, but can't really tell.
Yeah, but Nick can still claim here and remove any die. So he passed to make him focus to the 3, which now he can't remove.
Well, he can probably get rid of the Stormtrooper die too, so he doesn't get the power
Oh, the Stormtrooper
action.
hasn't activated yet. Okay, yep, that's key there. So now Joe's threatening another vehicle. So it's the Stormtrooper. Yeah, Nick choosing to instead remove the possible damage instead of choking out the resources.
Claim.
Come on, Joe, that wasn't even close.
to the
To the dice tray. All right, the second arc comes out.
man.
Joe is struggling with that dice box today.
Dice box doesn't exist.
All right, so the arcs have rolled 3 times, and all 3 times hit 3 indirect. That's pretty strong.
7 on Dooku and 3, so it's 10 to 10.
10 to 10, exact tie
Wow.
with 5 minutes left.
5
in the
minutes to
round.
go.
We're going into round 3, game 3. Exactly tied on damage, 10 to 10. This is a nail biter. What a match this has been.
Oh, he got an all in. He got an all in.
That's huge. That's huge with the
Nick
force
just got
speed.
an all in.
That's pretty likely going to be a dead Stormtrooper, which means no snow power action. Man, but Joe's going to have so much time to get stuff done.
4 speed special.
Yeah, we do have to remember Nick does have a Witch Magic in hand.
Yes, he does.
So that's going to be a 3 damage swing.
Now that pressure. Does he resolve the 2 damage? Does he, I think Joe looks like he's on borrowed time with the Stormtrooper.
I think he's forcing his hand here. I think Nick or Joe knows what's going on here, and I think he wants him to kill the Stormtrooper. Just to get it off the board, to get his dice off the board, and then knows what he has to do. I'm going to pretend I'm not insulted by saying the last round should not have been the final.
I mean, it's easier to comment on there because they don't know everything that's going on.
I know,
They're picking
I
up
know.
everything. It's easier.
It's Twitch chat. It's Twitch chat.
It's switch chat. Boom.
Oh, the deflect.
Ouch.
What a huge swing. That's a 3 damage swing right there.
And he
That's
still got the 4 speed special. And the all in his hand.
And the Witch Magic.
Oh.
Nick just has had every answer that he needs. Nick's hand is so money right now.
He doesn't feel threatened with that 4 speed. 3 actions have passed, so he's not worried about.
Yeah, really good point, though. I think Nick does need to slow down his actions here just because he wants this to be the last round. I think Joe is in an advantageous board position. So if this goes to a round 4 for whatever reason, Nick's in a really tough spot. But if this is the last round, I think Nick's in a really good position.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes left.
And that battlefield has been so huge for him.
1. 3 heals.
There you go. Put Dooku back up to 4. I think just making sure what cards they were. Yep, this is game 3.
So it's 7 to 8, 5, 13. 6 points. And he still hasn't activated Dooku.
Joe does have some game left, though. I can't see his hand, but I'm assuming with those resources, he does have some kind of weapon to resolve. He really needs to get the Stormtrooper off the table here, which is going to happen.
He rolled some damage. 3 for 1. And
That heirloom.
ouch.
The heirloom says, Arcs, I see what you're doing. Watch this.
Watch what I can do.
I can roll 3s, too.
So he can have, 8 total damage? 5 plus 3? Ooh.
You know our motto at the Hyperloops is, just roll 3s, baby.
Just roll 3s.
R.I.P. Sabine. So it looks like he might change the 3 for 1 down to a 2.
Because he only has 1 resource, so he
He
can't.
only needs 2 to kill the Stormtrooper, so it actually makes it pretty efficient. It still leaves his removal in line. Okay, choosing to move the focus, still leave the 3 available, and he's going to put all... That's 8 damage.
So it's 15, 18, 21 to 7. It's 14.
21 is lethal. So
No, 21. He's got total.
I know. 21 is the health of Nick's characters.
Yeah.
So Joe has to kill both characters outright
And minute and 30 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen.
in 1 round. I don't think it's possible. Joe has to kill every point of health from Nick's characters. Let's see. We need 6 plus 8. He needs to do 14 damage. I don't know if that's possible with what he has on the board right now, unfortunately. Nick still has the claim. Oh, and they're going to go to another round. Joe finishes off the round. Okay, so we have a minute. This is going to be the final round of the game, of the match.
He claimed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to try to expedite this a little bit. So now you're Nick. You know that you have to just survive. But he can possibly just do lethal and just take out Snoke. 4 speed. He still has an all-in.
Inception, I know you're just trying to cause internal strife between me and Mike. All right, I see through your comment. So doubt for the discard. It's the friends and low, not super relevant. Man, this is really going to come down to the wire. Definitely still advantage Nick, but this is as close as it could be. He still has it all in hand, I believe.
Yes, he does. Still got one more action. You would think he would do the all-in here.
So he gets the focus, so...
He's got 3 focus sides. He can change it to...
Yeah, I think this is game. I think he turns to a 3, all-ins for a focus. Yeah, this is game.
It's game.
Game over. Dead Snoke.
Wow.
What a match. And Nick Cuenca goes on to the top 4.
Good games, gentlemen. Good games. So yeah, all in. He had it in his hand like 3 turns.
Nick hit everything he needed, man. The Witch Magic, the all in, the unyielding to get through the Bazine. That was huge.
Yeah.
What a clinic put on by Nick Cuenca.
Yeah.
That guy's a beast.
Good job, guys. Good job. All right, we're going to be doing top 4 here shortly.